Yes, I agree. One Piece chapter 1000 was amazing. Just thinking about that chapter and how everything played out, it still gives you chills, right? Because you're thinking about, again, from chapter 1 to chapter 1000, the growth of Monkey D. Luffy. And just seeing where he's come from and the steps he's taken to get here, you can't help but feel some sense of accomplishment and feel like a proud parent almost. You've seen Luffy throughout his journey accomplish things you didn't think he could. And now look at him, our captain on the verge of becoming the Pirate King. And while he's not necessarily on the verge because there's a lot of things he has to accomplish in regards to strength and I think acclaim and respect, he is close. Shanks, you will have to meet Luffy soon. It's funny because there are people who felt like Luffy had no chance during this raid, but look at him now. Let's talk about something. Luffy's current level or perceived strength post chapter 1000. A conversation about Luffy's strength always seeds a lot of emotion because for some people it's an emotional topic going back to Luffy's growth and what they've seen throughout the story. For some people they look at specific feats and specific accomplishments and they analyze it, and based on what they see, sometimes it's on the opposite end of the spectrum. So when you talk about Luffy's strength, prepare for some very interesting conversation. Okay, so where do we start? And again, obviously this will contain spoilers from chapter 1000, so if you have not read chapter 1000, please go read and come back. If you don't care, then we can continue. But guys, if you're here for the first time, please make sure to like the video and be sure to subscribe. Some may come and watch the video and enjoy it and don't even realize that they're not subscribed. If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. That will help me out a lot. Thank you. I think I've always been fair on Luffy in regards to strength and accomplishments. Before I did say, even though Luffy was proclaimed as the 5th Yonko, he wasn't necessarily ready, I did acknowledge that he was close. Pre-time skip alone and jumping from post-time skip. Based off of what we've seen post-time skip, there's an argument there to justify Luffy's strength. Now, I'm not gonna jump and say that I think Luffy should 1v1 Kaido or Big Mom. However, Luffy has gone through specific things to improve, I think, areas that need improvement. One of the main things in regards to Luffy and his improvement revolves around Haki. Luffy coming out the time skip, we weren't sure where to gauge his Haki, but seeing him decimate the pacifista that he couldn't pre-time skip was hype. But then we're judging him based on pre-time skip. As we go throughout the new world, now it's time to judge him based on his opponents that we meet in a new world. Fishman Island, as we always say, was more of an exhibition, so you can't really judge him off of fighting Holy Jones, who we know was taken down by Zoro underwater. Even though he wasn't juiced up yet, he was taken down, so Horty was not a great barometer. Even Punk Hazard, to an extent, was not necessarily about Luffy and him showcasing his strength. I think that's more about Luffy's immaturity, in which he had a moment and Zoro had to tell him, we have to do better, this is the new world. And even in that same arc, it showed that Zoro's words were true because Luffy got defeated by Caesar Clown. Now Caesar isn't the worst combatant, but no one's mistaking him for an admiral, and he managed to defeat Luffy. So I think Punk Hazard was a step up, but not necessarily where we could measure him. When we get to Dressrosa, I think this is the first time you can look at Luffy and gauge his strength in comparison to a great combatant in the new world, the warlord Doflamingo. Most people agree, some people don't, when you talk about Luffy versus Doflamingo in regards to measuring their strength, when they compare to one another. In base form, Luffy was getting dominated. He could do nothing to Doflamingo. Doflamingo was overpowering him pretty easily, but when Luffy got to Gear 4th, it was a completely different matchup. Luffy dominated Doflamingo in Gear 4th. For a bit, because after Luffy got his hits in, Doflamingo used Awakening, then they fought for 20 minutes more where Doflamingo outlasted Luffy and he ran out of Gear 4th. And of course, this is post Gamma Knife, post Counter Shock, post Injection Shot, and all these attacks were landed by Law because it was a duo, it was a tag team. So sometimes people don't like to count that fight because they feel like Luffy had help and Doflamingo was hurt, he was aided, but some people also use the argument of Luffy running around the entirety of Dressrosa, fighting in the tournament, all that before facing Doflamingo. I would like to caution people that like to use Bellamy as a measuring stick, or say Luffy was getting beaten up by Bellamy, that's why he was really hurt going against Doflamingo. Luffy fought Katakuri for 12 hours, and he took more blows from someone like Katakuri, a first commander, and he came out on top. You're telling me someone like Bellamy, while Luffy was using Haki himself, managed to hurt Luffy or damage him even a little bit? I'm personally not buying it. However, moving on, the Doflamingo one is hard to gauge, but he dominated in Gear 4th. That's a fact. And of course he ran out, but that is a plot contrivance as well. Even though personally I think Luffy was not stronger than Doflamingo leaving Dressrosa, those came from the limitations of his Devil Fruit, whereas Gear 4th, it wasn't perfected, so he was overusing Haki. We get to Whole Cake Island, he struggles versus Cracker, is a bad matchup, gets help from Nami, I think he got stronger in that matchup, then he fights Katakuri, he unlocks Future Sight, manages to fight someone as strong as Katakuri for 12 hours, which shows his endurance and his overwhelming strength and power. And so going into Wano, Luffy was already a strong combatant, definitely around the Yonko commanders, but now, where is he? Now, post post 1000, going to Kaido and punching him into the ground. Where do we have Monkey D. Luffy? Well, in Wano alone, Luffy got one shot by Kaido, and everyone thought that was essentially where Luffy should be. I've always said, no, that's not an accurate assessment of Luffy's strength. To Luffy, his friends just died, and so he wasn't calm. That's something we found out in Whole Cake Island. You have to be calm to use observation haki, or future sight at least, so Luffy going against Kaido will not be the same thing. And even past that, Luffy has had training in advanced armament, as they would say it in Wano. And so combining Luffy's training in advanced armament, which is a level above what even Hyogoro could do, Luffy is using a technique that we've seen from the Admirals and from Dark King Silver's Rayleigh, of course from Sentomaru and the Boa Sisters as well, but he's leveling up even more. So now going against Kaido, where do I have him? Well, I think Luffy's in the in-between, between the right hands and the Admirals, because I think the Admirals are stronger than the right hands. I think that's where Luffy is right now, whereas if Luffy was on somebody else's ship, he would be the strongest combatant other than the captain, obviously for the Yonko I'm talking about, and probably for Dragon as well. But Luffy maybe is slightly still behind Sabo, but regardless, I think Luffy's coming. Luffy gets stronger, and Oda told us in Enies Lobby, through the words of Zoro, that the Straw Hats, they get stronger after every island. Technically, Luffy was on Wano, then he went to Onigashima. So I think from Wano to Onigashima, Luffy got stronger. And obviously with the training and the time he took to perfect or to learn Ryo, in addition to his future sight, he will be devastating. Again, that punch was amazing. That was a Gear 3rd punch, like the Gear 3rd variant of Red Hawk. And that completely clobbered Kaido into the ground. It rocked him. Is the fight going to go that way the entire time? Absolutely not. Luffy is going to be on the brink. But I think his endurance from fighting Katakuri, having to be creative versus Cracker, those things are going to factor in here when he fights Kaido and maybe Big Mom as well. Obviously, he has a lot of help with the Supernova and even his right hand Zoro, but he's not as strong as the Yonko yet. However, Luffy, I think, based on what Oda has shown, in regards to how quickly Luffy grows, definitely at a level in which he can fight these Yonko, and with the right help and right assistance, can overcome them. And I don't even want to get into how strong Luffy will be post Wano, because that Zenkai boost from fighting Kaido and Big Mom, we might be looking at a powerhouse by the time Wano is over. But anyway, guys, give me your thoughts. How do you view Luffy and his strength post chapter 1000? Is it the same? Did you change how you feel about it? Because for me, it's still consistent. Luffy's around the right hands and close to the Admirals. But again, guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BroggoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at Broggly.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Guys, like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.